Summer is starting early this year because on Saturday, May 10th, the St. John's Bazaar is coming back bigger than ever. If you're not in the know, that's the free all-ages music festival and craft fair that takes place in the heart of St. John's. And this year, there's music across 3 stages, including the incomparable Black Belt Eagle Scout, Seattle hip-hop group Shabazz Palaces, which is fronted by Ishmael Butler from Diggable Planets. And if amazing music isn't your thing, you can also find the perfect Mother's Day gift with a record 200 local artisans selling their handmade wares. It all starts at 10 a.m. this Saturday, May 10th at North Lombard in Philadelphia. I'll for sure be there. You can come find me. Visit stjohnsbazaar.com for more info. That's bizarre.com. Are you ready to vote in the May 20th special election? I know I'm not, so it might not be on your radar yet, but it's important because voters will decide on bonds for Portland Public Schools, which we've talked about on the show, and you're also going to vote for directors on local school boards, fire and water district boards, and the Urban Flood and Water Safety Board. Who's on these boards matter, so go inform yourself with resources from the League of Women Voters at vote411.org and at lwvpdx.org. Your vote is your voice. Make it count.
Portland's bar scene has grown and changed in several ways over the decades, but one thing that's stuck around is our happy hours. From insane deals at low-key neighborhood bars to discounts at some of our city's finest restaurants, there's plenty of places worth stopping in for a quick drink in between your daily to-dos. Today on CityCast Portland, Portland Monthly's associate food and drink editor Alex Frayne is here to talk about our city's best happy hours, from $1 oysters to $5 cocktails and much more. It's Tuesday, May 6th. I'm executive producer John Notarianni in for Claudia Meza, and this is what Portland's talking about. So Alex, what is it that you think makes a happy hour kick ass? Like, what are the components of a perfect happy hour?
I think it really depends on the place that you're visiting and what it offers. But in general, what I like to see from a happy hour menu, obviously, is going to be something that is a little bit more on the affordable side. Mm-hmm. One of my favorite styles of happy hour are like really nice places that offer like a really deep discount on just like a couple of items. Really doubling down on what makes the bar or restaurant that you're visiting, what makes them so good, and condensing that into a slightly cheaper menu for that limited amount of time. I think one of the things that kind of gets missed a little bit when people talk about what makes a good happy hour, though, is the actual time frame. Mm-hmm. You need to be able to transition from work to where you want to go and still have enough time that you don't feel like you need to pound 3 happy hour drinks in an hour before it wraps up.
Drinking at 3 o'clock is fun, but it's not necessarily a quintessential happy hour. That is
right,
just
exactly.
Drinking, right?
That's just, you're basically just a late brunch for Portland.
Okay, I love it. Well, let's just jump right into it then. What are a couple of your favorite classic happy hours? Like nothing crazy, but just like reliable bar, good deal. What are your picks?
You know, it's so funny because I think this will at least be the second time in a row that I'm talking about this bar on this podcast. Mm-hmm. And that is Bar Maven.
Yeah.
On Southeast Foster. It's not a bar that really shows up on like a lot of, tour guides or travel lists or anything like that. But it is a bar that I've been talking about a lot recently, like I said, and it has a really spectacular happy hour. Mm-hmm. And one of the things I like about it is that it's just got a deep discount on a whole bunch of drinks. It's got cocktail options. It's got wine options. It's got beer options. But it also has a really large suite of food items you can choose from, and kind of that classic bar food, but with a Portlandy twist. So you've got like a vegan burger on there, and you've got a lot of fried things, including, I think, some pretty great fried Brussels sprouts.
But don't they have like a Mediterranean twist
they do,
as well?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
So they'll do like harissa, I think, on their cauliflower, or just have that little bit of like a touch of something. And then they also do like a different special each day for happy hour as well, which I think is a really fun way that you'll have it be like a little bit different when you come on like a Tuesday versus a Wednesday versus a Thursday.
Nice. Okay, so Bar Maven, number 1.
So the second one, it's pretty close to where I live, actually. And I always thought that they ran afoul of your hours rule because I feel like they have a really early happy hour.
Is that Tiny Bubble Room?
That's Tiny Bubble Room, yeah.
That is so funny because it did. I was looking at that and I was like, God, it's a little bit early, it's a little bit short, but it's that good. And it's such an industry darling bar too. Like you talk to bartenders or like fellow writers or all sorts of people what their favorite happy hour menu is in Portland. And often enough, Tiny Bubble Room comes up. And it's, again, one of those bars that maybe doesn't get a lot of larger attention.
Mm-hmm.
It's not really like a cocktail bar. It's not really a beer hall. It's just this great catch-all bar. And it's got, similar to Bar Maven, it's got this really large happy hour menu. I think it's got a single price for all the food. It's like $6 or something like that for everything on the menu. And that includes like sliders and sandwiches and all sorts of just really, really good deals.
Yeah. So this is like on Lombard, sort of like North Interstate area, right?
Yeah.
And they've got that giant outdoor patio as well.
Yes.
But the reason that I'm saying that is because I knew they had a great happy hour and I lived close by there. And there have been times where I've been like, can I wrap up work? Can I make it in time to make it to happy hour? And I never have. I've never made it to the happy hour, Alex.
And that kind of brings me to my earlier point is that you don't really, like a happy hour should be like an enjoyable process that you go to because it's available. You don't really want to have a happy hour where you're rushing to get there and then finish it.
Yeah. Well, let's sort of stay still in North Portland. And this place is also super close to my house. What is it? North Mississippi, the Rambler that you love so much.
So that also fits into what we've been talking about with these other two previous spaces where it's just this very like accessible happy hour menu. I think they do a flat discount on all of their drinks. And they also have a really fun food menu and it revolves around their tornado potatoes, which are like a curly JoJo.
So they're not a curly fry.
They're not a curly fry.
It's like a whole potato, right?
They're more like thick cut steak fries with a twist. And I mean that literally, like they're like a curly steak fry almost.
I am now looking at like videos from Facebook on my browser and they're like bouncy almost before they cook.
Yeah. That's exactly right. To your earlier point about Tiny Bubble Room's great big patio, I do think when I'm thinking about what makes a great happy hour, you really have to think about the venue and the setting.
Mm-hmm.
And happy hours for me really start to become way more appealing in the spring and summer.
Yeah.
The minute it starts getting sunny and spring-like out, that's when I want to do my happy hours. That's when I want to do my post-work drinks. Maybe because then I get off and I go home and it's still daylight and I can like make dinner while it's daytime after that.
And I think the other common thread there is that these are places that have a lot of space, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Like you're rarely going to show up to the Rambler and have it be like waiting room only. There's no seats.
Yeah, but then also just like you were saying, the sprawling big patio at the Rambler is so nice for a happy hour because you're going to sit out there with a margarita, some fries, and bask in the sun and remember that we can actually feel like people.
Yeah. I'm getting a shout out from our producer, Julia, just up the street, Interurban. Also, great patio, and apparently also has these tornado potatoes. It must just be like a North Mississippi thing, because those bars are like a block from each other, right?
Yeah, they're about a block away from each other.
Mm.
Interurban, I would argue, has some of the strongest cocktails on that entire street. I mean, it's a really, really solid cocktail bar.
Strength in quality and just strength. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yes, that is true. They do have some pretty strong cocktails. This is getting into the weeds a little bit, but my style of cocktail is almost always the kind of boozier stir drinks. And
I will say that is a dangerous happy hour drink, Alex. If you're like starting your happy hour with a Sazerac, you're a professional food and drink writer. But for the rest of us, that's dangerous waters. Well, let's get you out of North Portland. Tell me about Kay's. Kay's I've never been to.
Oh, that's funny because this bar is not in any way new. I think it's actually maybe the oldest bar on my happy hour list.
The website says 1934.
Isn't that crazy? I didn't even realize that until I started writing this story. But I mean, I've known Kay's as long as I've been drinking in Selwood. So again, we're kind of looking at the same thing as Bar Maven, as Tiny Bubble Room, as Rambler. You're looking at taking your kind of quintessential bar foods, your quintessential bar drinks, your well drinks, your drafts, and you're just pricing it way down. And Kay's has been such a staple of the Selwood Moreland scene for so long. If you go there on a happy hour, I pretty much guarantee that most of the people in the room, if not all of them, are regulars that have been probably going there for a long time.
You know, I can give credence to that because I was like, why does this place sound so familiar that I've never been? So we just had Rachel Saslow, Willamette Week arts and culture reporter on, talking about the Eastmoreland, Westmoreland neighborhood. And she was like, this is a neighborhood place. This is where the locals hang out in that neighborhood. It was at Kay's.
I would argue that the only bar you're going to from outside of the neighborhood, like if you're traveling to Selwood Moreland, because you're like, I really want to go to a space in Selwood Moreland, the most likely candidate for that is going to be the Speakeasy Cocktail Bar.
Bible Club.
Bible Club. Thank you. My gosh. That's like one of the few, like I would call like a destination. Also, man, there is no neighborhood in Portland more dicey when it comes to talking about its name. Because you start to mix up Selwood with like Eastmoreland or something like that, and people will come for you.
Yeah.
You will get some very mean emails if you accidentally refer to a neighborhood as being Selwood or Eastmoreland.
We totally got into that in the conversation with Rachel. Yeah.
I don't know why that neighborhood in particular.
Well, we've got a lot more happy hours I want to hear about, but first, let's take a quick break.
Portland's premier pop culture event is returning to the Oregon Convention Center this September 5th through the 7th. As always, Rose City Comic Con is delivering a fun, family-friendly, 3-day celebration of comics, gaming, sci-fi, cosplay, anime, fantasy, and every fandom in between. Also, this year, you can meet the cast of The Goonies in celebration of the film's 40th anniversary. We're talking Corey Feldman, Martha Plimpton, and Sean Astin, to name a few. And who knows, maybe they'll have more info on the much-talked-about Goonies sequel that's in the works. For me, the cosplay competition is easily the highlight of the entire weekend. Just the time and effort that people put into their costumes is amazing. And if you're into shopping, there's the Artist Alley and Makersmart, where indie creators sell their wares. Rose City Comic Con isn't just comics. It's a celebration of all that is popular culture. There's quite literally something for everyone. Tickets are on sale now at rosecitycomiccon.com. That's rosecitycomiccon.com.
CityCast Portland is brought to you by Diamore Law Group. Let's face it, sometimes bad stuff happens. A serious injury, a catastrophic accident, or even a wrongful death. It can turn your world upside down. When it does, you deserve unwavering support from a dedicated team. Yep, you need a lawyer. Diamore Law Group has over 30 years of experience protecting the rights of Oregonians. Their team of skilled attorneys, led by distinguished trial attorney Tom Diamore, will work tirelessly to make sure your voice is heard and your rights are protected. Here's what one of his clients said. Tom fights for his clients from the first day they meet him through the last day of trial. If you or a loved one needs help holding those responsible for your injuries accountable, contact Diamore Law Group at 503-222-6333 or visit diamorelaw.com to schedule a free consultation. They are committed to fighting for the justice and compensation you deserve right here in Portland.
So here's a tip. The number one thing that your mom probably wants is a phone call from you. So this Mother's Day, you can give her a phone call, of course, and give her an Aura digital picture frame. So my mom lives across the country, and a big way that we keep in touch is through sharing photographs. I'm constantly sending her photos of activities that I'm doing, like my team at the Lads 500 bike relay the other week. Yeah, she got those photos. Aura Frames was named the best digital photo frame by Wirecutter, so you can use one to keep in touch with your mom too, right from your phone. Aura has a great deal going for Mother's Day. For a limited time, CityCast listeners can save on the perfect gift by visiting auraframes.com to get $35 off plus free shipping on their best-selling Carver mat frame. That's auraframes.com. Promo code CityCast. Support the show by mentioning us at checkout. Terms and conditions apply.
All right, so we've been talking about some places that have like some great food options, but are like primarily drinking spots.
Yeah.
But what are a couple restaurants that you love that also have like really good happy hour options?
Yeah, that's a fun concept because I think people usually, when they think happy hour, obviously they think of bars. And that is the lion's share of happy hours in Portland are going to be at your favorite bar. But it's also a space where restaurants can offer their food. I think particularly at restaurants, the happy hour menu is going to be discounted. At places like Campana, which is one of Portland's best Italian restaurants, this is up in the Woodlawn neighborhood, they offer a happy hour that has what's essentially like half-price pasta. I think it's like not the exact same die-cut noodles that they're serving at the restaurant proper. But you can go in there and you can get like a plate of really, really killer pasta. They have like 4 or 5 different options at a really affordable price. And the fun thing about their happy hour is that if you're sitting at the bar part of the restaurant, you can order off the happy hour menu all night. And then it's also got some discounts on house cocktails and wine as well, I believe.
Yeah. Speaking of Italian food happy hours, my go-to is, Nostrana?
Oh, yes.
So they do a killer late night happy hour, like at the end of the night, where you can get their pizzas for like $10.
That's right. That's funny. Reverse happy hour sounds a bit like a sad hour. Funny enough, I actually was just speaking with Kathy Wims, the owner of Nostrana, earlier today.
Oh, okay.
She's fantastic. I think Life of Pi and Otto Pizza both also have pizza happy hours.
Oh, the Life of Pi pizza happy hour is like unbelievable.
That one's there's that's kind of a fun thing in Portland is the pizza happy hour.
Well, what about like non-pizza restaurant happy hours? Where are we going to go?
Well, we were talking about old places in town, and one of the oldest restaurants in town is Jake's Grill downtown. And usually I think when people think about Jake's Grill, they think about a place that you're going to see before you go to a show at the Schnitzer.
Yeah.
Or a place where you take your elderly parents for their birthday or out-of-town family members. People don't tend to think of it as being like a super hip place to go. And they're right. But it is still a Portland institution. And one of the fun things you can do there is if you're sitting at the bar, they offer happy hour as well. And it's just a fun way to kind of explore one of Portland's oldest menus. They have a whole bunch of seafood specials and other items from the grill. They offer special wines by the glass. And again, it's just sort of a fun way for me. Like, if you don't really want to make the splurge to actually go to a place like Jake's Grill that's a little too pricey and maybe just a little too unhip, it's still a fun way to kind of experience that.
But I can just imagine that it would be so much fun to go there and just get like 1 or 2 things and a glass of wine.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, let's pivot. Let's talk about, I know that there are some places that have been doing like really specific happy hour deals for a long time. What are some of your go-to spots for like, you're never going to believe this happy hour? One of these I definitely can co-sign on. But yeah, what would you go for there?
So I think probably the one that you're talking about is the one that's going to be at the forefront of a lot of Portlanders' minds when we talk about happy hour in Portland. And I'm not just speaking alphabetically in the fact that it starts with double A's, but is the Alto Lounge.
Yep.
Alto Lounge just celebrated its 25th anniversary, which is a lot longer than a lot of bars in Portland actually have been around.
Yeah.
And I don't know how long they've been doing this particular happy hour, but it's been at least a decade. And the happy hour, like you said, is very specific. Instead of offering like $5 well drinks or $1 off wine, they have 3 cocktails on the menu. They've had at least as far back as the 10 years that I've known about it. The Belmont Jewel.
I have the menu.
Yeah, kind of like a bourbon-y sour, essentially. What is it? The Slow Burn, which is actually my favorite.
Okay.
Slow Burn's a fun drink because it's a spicy vodka drink, and I don't drink vodka drinks, and I don't drink spicy drinks, and I will drink the hell out of the Slow Burn. It's the only one I ever get when I go there. And then the last one I know is a gin and, is it gin and lavender, gin and...
Think vegetal.
Cucumber?
Yep, you got it. That's the Dandy.
The Dandy, that's right. Also a very lovely one, especially on the patio. And each of those now I think are $5.
Yeah.
When I was going there, 10 years ago or whatever, they were $2. It was a $2 cocktail menu, and which is just absolutely, a $5 cocktail is still ludicrous, right?
A $5 cocktail is insane, yeah.
Absolutely. And onto that, they have a whole bunch of other options. I think the bottles of wine are like 15 or something.
$15, yeah. Yeah, and then they have food as well.
Yeah.
I think I've done like the onion dip there. It's like a vegan onion dip, and it's like $7. It's so good.
Their most famous one that's remained on there forever is the grilled cheese and tomato soup.
Yeah.
I think that might be $5 right now as well. It is really, really good. Obviously, we're kind of moving out of grilled cheese and tomato soup leather. But you go out into their back patio, it's 5 to 7 every day that they're open. I remember back in the day, I would go there and it would hit like 7:05 and the bar would be empty all of a sudden.
And it would just completely clear out.
Yep, exactly.
I've been a part of that crowd before. Yeah,
everyone's done the happy hour crowd thing there. And, people will come back in later on in the evening because it's a lovely cocktail bar all night.
Yeah.
But that is just one of the most iconic Portland happy hours. And I love the fact that they've changed so little of it.
Yeah, well, this next one is a bar and restaurant I love, but I've never been to their happy hour. What is OK Omens doing?
So OK Omens is fun because it's one of the few bars in town that offers an oyster happy hour, which I think we'll talk about a little bit. But it's called Oysters and Riesling because guess what? They serve oysters and Riesling. And OK Omens was one of the earlier wine bars in town, or I guess they call themselves more of a wine restaurant now, that really celebrated the Germanic varietal that is Riesling. Brent Braun, who is the co-owner and the sommelier, he's a Riesling head, just complete fanatic. And I think they're all 20% off by the bottle. And he has like this set list of Rieslings that you can come in. And, you know, Rieslings are killer wine with oysters. So if you want like a truly, in my opinion, what's like a really like specifically Portland or Pacific Northwest style happy hour, OK Omens is the jam.
I love OK Omens a ton.
It's so good.
One of my favorite things about OK Omens is that they have like the best descriptions on their menus of their wines of anywhere I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, that's all Brent.
So this is the Dry Lightning Bolt Riesling. And it says, tastes like you stuck your tongue into an electrical socket while sucking on lemon verbena flowered sweet tart. It's just like, got it.
Right? It's creative, but it absolutely tells you what to expect.
Well, let's take another break, and then I want to keep fleshing out this list.
Have you been to the Lansu Chinese Garden? It's like an oasis of peace and beauty right in downtown Portland. And this Mother's Day, they're going all out with spring blooms. You can also get crafty with your mom and make your own corsages, origami keepsakes, or even create a custom card. Plus, they have one of the best tea rooms in the city, so you can reserve a spot at their extremely popular Mother's Day tea tasting. It's like having a little moment of zen with mom. To learn more and reserve your tea time, visit lansugarden.org/Mother's Day.
Hey CityCast! Something I appreciate about the Cozy Earth Mother's Day sale is that they know motherhood looks different on everyone. So whether you're raising kids, dogs, or cane, all moms work hard and they deserve comfort. So let me tell you about these Cozy Earth sheets. They feel like cool water, in a sort of, is this the Ritz-Carlton or my own bedroom kind of way. The pajamas are what I imagine celebrity moms sleep in, buttery soft. You're looking for the right gift because the women who raised you feel like home, and they are going to love Cozy Earth bamboo pajamas, and I know this because it's 3:24 p.m. and I'm still wearing mine. To celebrate moms everywhere, Cozy Earth is supporting your favorite local podcast and giving our listeners a special promo. 45% off site-wide. This is a luxury brand, and that is a mind-blowing deal. Use Cozy Portland to take advantage of 45% off at CozyEarth.com.
Well, Alex, before we wrap up, I want to hit you with a lightning round, all right?
Oh, hit me. That sounds fun.
Let's like hit a couple things that we haven't gotten to real quick.
Let's do it.
And I haven't been to this one. What's up with Goal?
Goal is a sports bar on Hawthorne. It's actually, I kind of broke my own rule here because it's nearly directly across the street from OK Omens, and I usually like to keep things a little bit separate. But those happy hours cannot be further apart. Whereas you have OK Omens with Riesling and oysters, you've got Goal with like tacos, burgers, and well drinks that are like I think $4 or $5. Goal is a soccer bar specifically, and it's a bar that often has very weird hours because of the fact that it's a soccer bar. Because if you're going to be watching a match that's in Europe or a match that's in Asia or something like that.
Yeah, that place is like packed to the gills at like 6 o'clock in the morning sometimes.
6 o'clock in the morning before they can even legally serve alcohol. I think they've opened as early as like 3 or 4 in the morning. They can't even operate as a bar at that point. But that's when games are being shown, so you got to open.
So is there happy hour at like normal happy hour time?
Their happy hour is normal time, yeah.
Cool. Okay, we got Goal. Number 2, White Owl Social Club. What's White Owl?
Yeah, that's a pretty, again, we're talking about these bars that have really sprawling patios. This is in the industrial east side. Mm-hmm. It's been kind of like a music venue. I'm going to use a slightly fraught term, a little bit of a hipster bar.
They have a dance party from time to time.
They go to dance party all the time. You know, most people don't think about it, I think, as like a place where you go after work necessarily, but they'll be missing out because it's, again, just got a really broad happy hour. They have a bunch of cocktail specials, which I think is nice. They've got a bunch of food specials, including their very cool vegan burger that they make in-house that's been kind of like a cult classic amongst vegans in Portland. And, you know, they've got like an Aperol Spritz on the menu. They've got all these like spritzy, summery stuff that you really want to be drinking at 5 o'clock. Like you said, if you don't want to start with a Sazerac at 5 p.m.
Yeah. Well, I think we saved the best of all for last, which is our bounty of oyster happy hours, starting with Jacqueline.
Yeah, the oyster happy hour it's not gone yet. We still have the oyster happy hour, which I think is so Portland, right? Not all of these do $1. A lot of them do $1. Some of them are $2. I still think it's insane if you can go and get a good $1 oyster. But now, like you said, Jacqueline has an oyster happy hour, which is a really great way to start. You've obviously got OK Omen, which we've already talked about. Normandy, one of my favorite restaurants in Portland, over on Southeast Ankeny. They have a really nice happy hour menu, really lovely cocktail program there, really lovely wine program there, and their, I believe, $1 oysters are there. And then, of course, one of Portland's oldest bars, we keep talking about these older places, but a place that competes with Jake's for, tenure of the downtown sprawl is, and I'm going to hopefully pronounce this right, Dan and Louie Oyster Bar. And they do, I believe that's a $2 oyster, but I could be mistaken on that, might be $1. But again, all these places, a feature of their happy hour menu is these discounted oysters. And that's almost always, everything that I've seen is oysters on the half shell, right? These aren't like shooters or baked oysters. They're coming in, it's 5 o'clock, you're getting a glass of wine, you're getting a light beer. It's fresh, it's quick. Bring out this big tray of oysters and you can just polish off, a dozen each. And that's, with tip, you're spending like $15.
12 oysters, 3 Sazeracs, and
there you go. That's the way
you're ready to take on the world, right?
That just sounds like breakfast champions right there, right?
Yeah. Well, Alex, thanks for walking us through this killer list. No notes. I mean, obviously, there's a million more places that serve killer happy hours in Portland that we haven't gotten to.
Yeah, I have a question, actually, for the podcast. Does Slim's offer a happy hour?
Claudia's going to be mad at me for not knowing this. I don't know if they do or not.
I just want to get ahead of any criticism aimed at me because this is just a common thing about the fact that I omit Slim's too often. So if I didn't mention that, and they have a great happy hour menu.
But if Slim's does have a happy hour, we want to hear from all of you, our listeners, what your favorite happy hour is, what you think we missed. Shoot us an email, portland@citycast.fm, and we'll get it in the show. But yeah, Alex, thank you. And, we're taping. It's 4:46 p.m. So
it's happy hour time.
Happy hour to you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's all for us today here on CityCast Portland, but thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed the show, why not tell a friend, or you could leave us a rating or a review. We'll be back tomorrow morning with more from around the city. Until then, see you at Slim's.